Hey pool pros and pool owners. Pool care can feel intimidating sometimes. There are those days where it all just feels easy, and some days it feels like you can't get it right. And of course, the big question these days is how can I use less chlorine? And of course, keep the water clear and healthy. We have lots of answers to that question. You could use ozone or AOP, for example, but that's another video. Today, we want to talk about really simple stuff anyone can do that will keep the pool cleaner without adding any chemicals. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, let's really get started. I've got 3 simple tips to keep reducing chemicals and keep the pool cleaner. Number 1, shower before you swim. You may ask, I thought I was supposed to rinse off after swimming. To rinse off all the chemicals. That's fine too, but the purpose of a shower before you swim is to control what you are bringing into the pool with you. Every person in the pool brings a lot with them into the pool. Each person's body oils, makeup, lotion. Did you walk through dust, dirt, or grass before getting in the pool? And let's not forget the lower body region. It's gross to think about, but take a deep breath. We are in this together. Any feces or urine on the body is going in the water too. All of that stuff puts a huge demand on the water. But what if you could keep it out of the water in the first place? Most of it can be rinsed off your body when you shower before you swim. What if you don't have a dedicated pool shower? Well, just break out the hose and get a quick rinse before you dive in. Just please don't use swimming in the pool to replace bath time. And guess what? The pre-swim shower is standard practice in parts of Europe. This habit, along with other methods, allows them to use much less chlorine than pools in the USA. So do it for the old red, white, and blue. Shower before you swim, please. That brings us to tip number 2. Get the most out of your pool filter. It's real easy to forget about the filter. In fact, we have had customers get confused between the filter and the pump. A lot of homeowners don't really understand what it is. The filter kind of just sits there, but inside it is still very powerful. Let's think back to our first tip. The shower helps because you bring less junk into the pool to use up all the expensive chemicals. So what does a filter actually do? A filter literally pulls stuff right out of the water. And we are talking about a lot of stuff. Even a sand filter, generally considered the least efficient filter, removes particles down to 20 to 100 microns. A human skin cell is 20 or so microns in size. For reference. So yeah, pretty small. Even with sand, we are already talking about lots of filtration. Once you move on to a cartridge filter or DE filter, you can remove particles as small as 10 or 5 microns. But here's the very dirty secret. That level of filtration is the best case scenario for a clean and functioning filter. Performance will drop without some simple maintenance. Watch the pressure. Keep in the recommended range since this is how the filter is designed to operate best. High pressure can indicate the need for a filter cleaning. Clean the filter following the instructions for the type and manufacturer. Sometimes you can just rinse, but you may need a chemical cleaner to remove oils that build up. Change out the sand, cartridge, or DE as needed. Eventually, everything wears out and the filter will not perform. The filter may be quiet and easily forgotten, but don't neglect it. A great filter can be the difference between easy pool care and a constant battle with dirty water. And that brings us to tip number 3. Get ready to roll up your sleeves. Are you ready? Tip number 3 is to brush the pool. You may be asking, seriously, how is the pool brush going to keep my pool water cleaner? I just use that to get dirt and algae off the walls. If I use it at all, that is. Look, it's tempting to just rely on the chemicals. More chlorine, more ozone. But let me ask you, do you just pour soapy water on your floors and just let it dry? You just drop shampoo on your head and leave it there? I think my kids probably tried doing that when they were growing up, but come to think of it, most likely you do some scrubbing, right? Dirt, oils, and algae can all build up on the wall in ways that chemicals can barely touch them. There's this other thing called biofilm. I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically a funky mix of bacteria, dirt, and oils. It's really gross. And it can grime up the walls. Chlorine can break some of this down, but if you scrub at it, break it up, and get it off the walls, it will go away much more easily. Most of this buildup will start before you can even see it, which is why you should brush the pool even when it doesn't look dirty. I mean, you don't only take a shower when you're covered with dirt, right? You don't just brush your teeth right after you eat Oreos. You clean even when you're not that dirty, as a way to stay clean and healthy. The simple act of physically cleaning a pool will do wonders for the pool. Like the other steps, this little bit of physical work will allow you to use fewer chemicals, and yes, even save you some money. But look, none of these tips are magic. They're just maintenance. Our team gets asked literally daily, how can I use fewer chemicals? How do I save on chlorine? How should I keep the water clean and healthy? Well, if you're a homeowner, the steps above are all easy ways to have a better pool experience. If you're a pool pro, teaching your customers these simple steps will help them enjoy their pool more. Maybe the service team is taking care of the filter and scrubbing. That's great. But don't forget the shower for the homeowners. And there isn't a magic pool pill yet, but there are a few things you can do that will feel magical. I hope these tips help you keep a cleaner pool. We will have even more tricks and tips for you soon. See you then, and thanks for watching.